Order, order. Hello and welcome to Reporters Without Orders, a podcast where we talk about what made news, what didn't, and some things that absolutely shouldn't have. It's the 14th of September. With me in the studio, to Tahreem's dismay, are my two colleagues, Basant and Ayush, who are very musical this morning. You both have come to the studio singing songs in a great mood today.
Yeah.
And we're going to be discussing your reports, unfortunately, not your songs.
Yeah.
Firstly, welcome to Reporters Without Orders, Ayush and Basant.
Thank you.
Shukriya.
Ayush, I'll just start with your story. It's titled Rupees 440 crore and counting firms linked to Mukesh Ambani own over 43% of News Nation. And Basant, आपकी जो स्टोरी का टाइटल आप बताइए. मेरी हिंदी इतनी फ्लुएंट नहीं है.
जी. बिहार कॉलन झांकी के वीडियो को शराब सप्लाई का बताकर मीडिया संस्थानों ने चलाई खबर, युवक गिरफ्तार.
Both of these are looking at how news is being consumed today and how it's being reported. Ayush, to just start with your story, if you can tell us a little bit, especially for those who don't consume news regularly and possibly for people who don't watch Hindi news, give us a brief on what kind of a channel News Nation is.
It's not that well known a channel. Most people who watch News Nation or who talk about News Nation did it because Deepak Chaurasia used to be an anchor at primetime, and he used to say a lot of unverified, hateful things, and that's what made News Nation a name. That's why people talk about News Nation. Besides that, no one really talks about that news channel in particular. And it started almost a decade ago. And there are 3 channels. They have a national Hindi channel, and they have one channel for UP and one for MP. And they have a website as well. And if you look at it, it doesn't seem like something very interesting or intriguing. It's just another channel which serves just what most channels serve these days.
Which is
hate, fake news.
And why are we looking into this story? Why is it important to understand where the channel gets funded from?
So recently, the Adani Group, made a claim to NDTV, and it will soon own 29%. So NDTV, the way Adani took over, as we had discussed, was companies linked through Reliance had sold off that stake from NDTV to Adani's. And so I was just looking at these companies and, where the money comes from in these companies and where the money goes. And I was trying to figure where, because as we discussed last time, what I couldn't understand was why is Mr. Ambani selling a very prestigious news channel to his arch competitor? So I thought maybe they have other media investments, and that's why we started looking into them. And that's when I found that News Nation mein Reliance has invested a lot of money. And this was first reported 5-6 years ago. Krishan Kaushik did a story for Caravan. Yeah. But the time he did it, what he reported was something around 10 crores, right? But over the years, in the last 5-7 years, that 10 crore, that 2-digit number has gone to 3 digits. It's like 400-500 crores is what we're looking at. And that's a lot of money. Yeah. It's not a lot of money for Mr. Ambani, but it's a lot of money to be in a news channel.
We'll come back to the story of yours and discuss in more detail. Before we move to Basant, I also want to discuss another story that you did this month, which started with Abhinandan receiving an email and somebody wanted to award him as the most influential leader of this decade or year. What was it? Of this year.
Yeah.
So tell us about this email and why you ended up actually writing a very snarky story on this.
It's one of those nice stories you should write from time to time. It's therapeutic, and a lot of internal frustrations just come out, and it looks good on the page. जो पाठक है उनको भी मजा आता है और आप लिखते हैं आपको तो मजा आता है.
It's a writer's story.
Yeah. He received an email from this firm called Team Marksman, which said that he's been chosen as the most influential leader, one of the most influential leader of 2022. And they wanted to facilitate him in Bombay in a 5-star hotel. And then there were these documents attached to it. And it seemed too good to be true. But when you open a document, then it said, if you give 4 lakh, you'll get the award and there'll be an article somewhere in this magazine. But if you give 12 lakh, 11 lakh or 14 lakh, then you'll be on India Today for 3 minutes and we'll do an interview. And Abhinandan said, ki you should do, you should write a story, because India Today and I go along back, and it's fun almost. So I thought this is a great way to poke fun at India Today and at Economic Times, and that was our story.
And we'll come to how you came about doing that story, because I think I was able to hear some of the conversations you were having when you were doing this story.
Right.
So we'll come to that. Basant, आप हमें ज़रा बताएंगे कि आपकी story exactly किस पे है? एक वायरल वीडियो के ऊपर शुरू किया आपने स्टोरी, तो एक बता सकते हैं आप कि ये वायरल वीडियो क्या था?
दरअसल ये बिहार में एक जगह है सिवान, जहाँ का मैं रहने वाला भी हूँ। वहाँ पे एक वीडियो वायरल हुआ। सिवान में इन दिनों एक महावीरी मेला लगता है हर जगह पे, तो वहीं मेले में एक लड़का बाइक को चारों तरफ नाव बना लिया था और उस पर लिखा था बलिया से दरौली तक शराब का थोक एवं खुदरा विक्रेता। मतलब बलिया एक ज़िला है जो यूपी में पड़ता है और दरौली जो सिवान में है बिहार में। बीच में एक नदी बहती है सयुग, उसमें शराब की तस्करी होती है, ये लंबे समय से सब जानते हैं। उस लड़के ने ये वीडियो डाला अवेयरनेस के रूप में, और वहाँ पे जो भी मेला लगता है उसमें अखाड़ा पहुँचता है, जिसमें लोग अलग अलग झांकियाँ निकालते हैं, कोई डांस करता है, कोई तलवारबाजी करता है, कोई कुछ करतब दिखाता है। तो ये नाव लेके पहुँचा था। मीडिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने क्या किया, जैसे News18 हिंदी बिहार यूपी, दैनिक भास्कर, ETV और ABP न्यूज़ ने क्या किया कि ये चला दिया कि ये बंदा शराब बेच रहा है और शराब का प्रचार कर रहा है, जबकि उसका मकसद था अवेयरनेस फैलाना, लोगों को जागरूक करना, कि यहाँ से प्रशासन को जागरूक करना। और ट्विटर पे चल गया कि वो शराब बेच रहा है एंकर ने। और सबसे हैरानी की बात है कि वो एंकर कह रहे हैं कि हम इस वीडियो की पुष्टि नहीं करते, और उसी के बेस पे सरकार से सवाल पूछ रही हैं कि क्या बिहार में शराब माफिया इतने खुले हो चुके हैं, पुलिस से कोई डर नहीं है। तो उसी स्टोरी को हमने किया, और हैरानी होगी आपको जान के कि पुलिस ने उस लड़के को ही गिरफ्तार कर लिया है अब आगे चल के।
तो इस बारे में भी हम बात करेंगे। ये पहली बार है आप अपने गांव के बारे में रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, अपने होम डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बारे में।
होम डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बारे में,
सिवान।
तो आपने जो जिनको कांटेक्ट किया वो आप उनको जानते हैं?
नहीं, मतलब सिवान छोटा तो है नहीं, एक जिला है। मेरा घर दूसरे कोने पे है, ये दूसरे कोने का मामला है। पर हाँ, मेरे जिले की मैं पहली बार अपने जिले की खबर कर रहा हूँ, इससे पहले कभी नहीं किया।
Okay, so that's where our video segment ends today. I also, before I leave, I want to say that today, exactly 2 years ago today, is when the Hathras incident happened. 14th of September, on the morning of 14th of September, 2 years ago. So, Akansha and I had actually visited the family 2 years back, and she was at that point fighting for her life in the ICU in Aligarh, and we had seen her before she passed away 2 weeks after the incident. We've done a series of reporting in the last 2 years. Please do go read that. One way to keep something alive and keep remembering is to also keep understanding what happened and what has been happening for 2 years, because the family has been fighting for justice, which is also something we've reported on. The case drags on at the fast track court. We've done a series of reportage. You can find it on our website, newslaundry.com. We're going to continue discussing Ayush and Basant's story. For that, you have to go to our website and check out the rest of the podcast, which is on audio format.
The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो, मेरे खर्च पर आज़ाद है खबरें।